Okay, so let's check out some choices our characters make in this story. This is called The Frog Prince, and it's adapted by Pam Sheeler from A Tale by the Brothers Grimm, and it's illustrated by Debbie Weekly. So this is a very old story. So our main characters are a frog and a princess and her dad. All right, so let's see some choices that these characters make. There's our title page. All right. Fix that so that it stands up for you. All right. One fine afternoon, a young princess put on her cape, picked up her favorite toy, a golden ball, and went outside to play. The sun was bright and the sky was clear blue. The princess tossed her ball high into the air, but missed catching it because the bright sun got in her eyes and temporarily blinded her. The golden ball landed right in the middle of a pond, and instead of floating, it sank to the bottom. The princess began to cry. Oh, goodness. Right out there in the middle. A friendly frog came out of the water and inquired, "Princess, what is the matter? Why are you weeping?" Now the princess was a little spoiled and a little selfish. She was an only child, and she didn't know much about being kind to others, especially frogs. "Go away, frog," she sobbed. "I've lost my golden ball in your pond. It's my favorite toy, so I'm very sad." That wasn't a very nice choice. Not very kind, huh? Well, the frog looked at the princess and said, "I will get your ball and bring it to you, if you will allow me to live in the palace with you." Well, the princess didn't think the frog would ever leave his pond, so she quickly agreed to his request. "Yes," nodded the princess. "By all means, if you'll bring me my ball, you may come and live in the palace with me." Oh, that was a very kind offer, wasn't it? So the frog put his head down and dove under the water. After a little while, he came up with the ball in his mouth. He threw the ball to the edge of the pond. As soon as the young princess saw her ball, she picked it up. Oh, she was so overjoyed to have it in her hands again. She didn't even say thank you. She simply ran home with it as fast as she could. Well, the frog called after her, "Princess, don't forget your promise. Take me with you as you said you would." Oh, the princess was so delighted to have her ball back that she never even heard his words. Oh, my goodness. Do you think the princess made a good choice? It wasn't very kind. And the frog was so helpful. What a helpful choice. That makes me sad. Well, later that evening, just as the princess sat down to dinner, she heard a strange noise. Tap, splat! Tap, splat! Something strange was approaching. She heard a knock on the palace door. Then a croaking voice called out, "Princess, princess, open the door! Remember your promise, I implore! A home in exchange for your golden ball! You gave your word! You must recall!" An implore is question, and recall means remember. You have to remember. The princess ran to the door and opened it. There was the helpful frog. Seeing the frog on her doorstep frightened her. She shut the door and ran back to the dinner table. Her father, seeing that she was frightened, asked what was troubling her. He looks kind to me. "There's a talking frog at the door," she said. "He retrieved my ball from the pond this morning. I told him that he could live here with me in exchange for his service. I didn't think he would leave the pond. What shall I do?" Then a croaking voice called out, "Princess, princess, open the door! Remember your promise, I implore! A home in exchange for your golden ball! You gave your word! You must recall!" The king said sternly to his daughter, "You have given your word. You must keep it. Let him in." Well, the princess opened the door, and the frog hopped into the room. Tap, splat, tap, splat, right up to the dinner table. That wasn't a very kind choice of her to slam the door in his face, was it? I'm hungry, declared the frog. The princess lifted the frog to the table and allowed him to eat from her plate. When he had eaten as much as he could, he said, "Now I am tired. Please carry me to your bed." The princess was reluctant. She didn't want to do it. But she did as the frog asked. She placed him up on a pillow where he slept all night long. Oh, that was kind. She's keeping her word. When morning came, the frog jumped up without a goodbye, hopped downstairs, and went out of the house. The princess thought he was gone for good. No, but she was mistaken. When night came again, she heard the same tapping on the door, and the frog croaked once more. "Princess, princess, open the door. Remember your promise, I implore. A home in exchange for your golden ball. You gave your word. You must recall." When the princess opened the door, the frog hopped in, shared her dinner, and slept upon her pillow as before. Morning broke, and the frog disappeared again. On the third night, the frog visited again and did the same. When the princess awoke on the following morning, she was astonished. Instead of a frog on her pillow, a handsome little boy stood by her bed, gazing at her with the most beautiful eyes she had ever seen. Wow. He looks very kind. The boy explained that he was a prince from a neighboring kingdom. A spiteful fairy had changed him into a frog and declared that he would remain a frog until a princess would let him eat from her plate and sleep upon her bed for 3 nights. "You, princess, have broken this cruel spell, and now I owe you a great debt," said the young prince. "You are lonely. I can come every day to play with you if you like." The young princess quickly agreed. She was delighted to finally have a companion, a friend, a buddy, someone to play and do things with. The next day and every day thereafter, the young prince arrived in a colorful coach with 2 beautiful horses, decked with feather plumes and golden harnesses. Ooh, that's beautiful. I'd like to ride in that. He was a charming companion and taught the princess much about being kind. In fact, the frog prince and the princess became best friends, and when they grew up, they married and lived happily ever after. Aww. The end. Oh, that was a very nice story. And there's our author who retold the story and our illustrator who made these beautiful, beautiful illustrations. I liked some of those choices. I think it all ended up happily ever after.